Imagine this. It's 2 a.m., and you're alone in the glow of your screen, the world outside reduced to a distant hum. You've clicked into a Reddit thread titled, "The Great Reset, What They Are Not Telling You." At first, it's just politics, the usual gripes about elites pulling strings, Davos meetings where billionaires sip champagne and plot the downfall of the middle class. But then the replies spiral. Someone posts a grainy image of an ancient Sumerian tablet, whispering about blood rituals under the World Economic Forum's logo. Another user links to a podcast where a whistleblower claims the reset isn't economic, it's apocalyptic. Global leaders, they say, aren't just hoarding wealth, they're summoning something older, something from the depths. Tentacled shadows rising from abyssal trenches, devouring cities in a single, indifferent pulse. Your heart races. You've uncovered it, the truth they've buried. But as you scroll deeper, a chill settles. The comments aren't triumphant, they're fractured. One user admits they've stopped sleeping, convinced the stars are watching back. Another begs you to log off before it's too late, before the knowing unravels you. What starts as a thrill, the electric rush of waking up, of piercing the veil, turns insidious. It's not empowerment anymore, it's erosion. Your mind, once a fortress, begins to crack under the weight of these revelations. Friends seem complicit now, blind sheep grazing on lies. Reality frays at the edges, and you wonder, is this clarity or the first symptom of madness? Like some doomed protagonist in a tale you can't escape, you realize the real horror isn't the conspiracy. It's what it does to you. The self, once solid, dissolves into doubt. And here's the question that haunts me, the one that dragged me down this rabbit hole myself. In an era drowning in information where every secret is just a click away, why do these conspiracy theories feel less like keys to freedom and more like a plunge into an abyss? Why do they evoke that same paralyzing terror as brushing against something vast, ancient, and utterly indifferent to our screams? It's as if we've traded rational discourse for a kind of modern myth-making, one that shatters the mind instead of mending it. To understand this, we have to go back, not to the forums or the forum's shadows, but to the man who first mapped this territory of dread. A reclusive writer in a crumbling New England town, scribbling nightmares that would echo through the century. H.P. Lovecraft didn't invent horror, he unearthed it from the stars themselves. And in his stories, we find the blueprint for the paranoia that grips us today. Let's step into his world, where the foundations of our sanity were first laid bare. Picture Providence, Rhode Island, in the fading light of the 19th century, a city of steepled churches and fog-shrouded alleys, where the air carries the salt of the sea and the weight of forgotten lore. It's 1890, and into this tableau is born how Lovecraft lived this dread. Nightmares plagued him, visions of cities with geometries that bent the eye, angles folding inward like predatory traps. He'd wake sweating, convinced the walls of his room pulsed with alien intent. These weren't mere dreams. They were the era's existential void, made personal, a microcosm of a world reeling from war and wonder. In crafting his horrors, he wasn't escaping reality. He was holding up a mirror to our precarious hold on it, whispering that the monsters aren't out there. They're in the spaces between what we know and what we dare not face. But why? Why does this mirror still reflect our own unraveling a century later? To answer that, we must descend deeper, not into history's archives, but into the labyrinth of the human mind, where the seeds of cosmic terror take root in the soil of our psyche. Here, in the mechanisms that drive us, we find the true link. The way our brains, in their frantic bid for meaning, conjure gods from shadows, and in doing so, invite the madness they promise. Let's peel back the layers of the mind, shall we? Not with scalpels, but with the quiet precision of revelation. At the core of both Lovecraft's tales and the conspiracy webs that ensnare us today lies a simple, savage truth. We are pattern-seeking creatures in a chaotic universe, and that drive is our salvation and our undoing. Consider apophenia, that insidious bias wired into our neurons. It's the brain's compulsion to forge connections from noise, to impose order on the random. Gaze at the night sky, and you see constellations, lions and archers etched in stars that care nothing for our stories, spot faces in clouds, or hidden messages in the static of a detuned radio. In Lovecraft's worlds, his protagonists fall prey to this. A scholar in The Call of Cthulhu pieces together police reports, artist dreams, and seismic data into a tapestry of doom, each thread pulling him toward insanity. Confirmation bias amplifies it, a feedback loop where every coincidence confirms the grand design until doubt itself becomes the enemy. This isn't abstract, it's primal. Ernest Becker, in his searing The Denial of Death, laid it out. Confronting our mortality, the yawning maw of oblivion ignites a frantic defense of our worldviews. We build cultural shields, heroic narratives to affirm we're more than dust. Conspiracies? They're the ultimate talisman, offering illusory control in the face of the void. Just as Yog-Sothoth, the all-in-one gatekeeper of Lovecraft's mythos, promises a false cosmic order, everything connected, nothing truly lost, so do these theories weave elites and entities into a knowable web. Believe in the cabal, and the universe bends to your insight. Deny it, and you're just another doomed soul adrift. But it's not solitary, it spreads like a contagion. Pareidolia, the illusion of patterns and ambiguity, thrives in groups, mirroring the cultists in The Shadow over Innsmouth, those scaly degenerates huddled in fog-bound rites, their shared delusion birthing a hybrid horror from collective fear. Evolutionary psychology explains it. Our ancestors survived by hypervigilance, spotting saber-tooths in rustling leaves. In today's info-saturated deluge, that wiring backfires spectacularly. Every tweet a potential threat, every algorithm a whisper from the deep. Take Wilbur Whateley from The Dunwich Horror, that grotesque prodigy sired by an otherworldly force on a backwoods witch. His hybrid nature, human frailty laced with eldritch power, embodies the psyche's forbidden urges, the thrill of transgression, the identity forged in secret knowledge. Sound familiar? It's the Red Pillar, the initiate who emerges from the matrix of mainstream lies, badge of enlightenment pinned to their chest. They derive purpose from the forbidden, but at what cost? Studies bear it out. A 2020 American Psychological Association paper linked conspiracy beliefs to low emotional stability, a fragility where the world feels too vast, too precarious to bear without armor. Lovecraft knew this intimately. The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind, he wrote, is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown. It's a line that could headline any forum thread, a confession from the void itself. Now picture yourself in that hypothetical spiral. You're the one connecting dots on vaccine microchips, elite bloodlines tracing back to reptilian overlords. At first, it's godlike, eureka moments lighting up your nights, but then trust erodes. Governments, lies, science, affront, loved ones, possibly plants. It echoes the unraveling narrator in The Whisperer in Darkness, who deciphers alien signals only to realize the fungi-clad invaders aren't invading. They're already here, wearing faces we trust. The insight curdles into isolation, a madness that feels like clarity until it hollows you out. This is the mind's dual curse. We invent monsters to conquer the chaos, only to become their thralls. Patterns soothe the terror of insignificance, but they multiply the shadows. And in our connected age, those shadows don't stay confined to pages or skulls. They erupt into the world, summoned by screens and servers, twisting societies in their grip. We've mapped the mechanism. Now watch it awaken in the battlefield of the present, where the old gods stir not in fiction, but in the feeds we can't look away from. The digital age didn't birth these horrors, it resurrected them, giving Lovecraft's indifferent cosmos a new altar, the endless scroll. Think of the internet not as a library, but as the Necronomicon reborn, a grimoire unbound, its pages infinite, its whispers tailored to your deepest fears. Every algorithm is a cultist, curating chaos into coherence, feeding you the next thread until the veil tears. Look at QAnon, that sprawling storm of prophecy born in the bowels of 4chan. It begins with drops from an anonymous Q, cryptic breadcrumbs alleging a satanic cabal of Hollywood pedophiles and deep state puppets, all set to fall in the storm. But peel it back, and it's Cthulhu's cultic echo. Elites aren't just corrupt, they're portals to interdimensional evil, trafficking children in rituals that summon ancient hungers. Believers don't seek justice, they await awakening, a rapture where the faithful expose the squamous truth. Endless forums become Relia's dreaming spires, rising with each viral post, indifferent to the lives they drown. Politics bends to this geometry. Flat Earth societies defy globes and gravity, their maps non-Euclidean rebellions against the authoritative gaze of NASA, echoing Lovecraft as angles that warp the soul. The 5G coronavirus link? Tau. In our daily grind, it's subtler, more insidious. TikTok's algorithm births eldritch influencers, wide-eyed youths peddling adrenochrome myths, harvested from terrified adrenals to fuel the immortal elite. Deepfakes flicker like will-o'-the-wisps, birthing videos of celebrities confessing to lizard skin shifts. And you? You're the office drone doom-scrolling Alex Jones at lunch, his bombast a siren's call amid the hum of fluorescence. Climate denial hits like cosmic insignificance. Wildfires rage outside your window, but the thread insists it's a hoax, geo-engineered by chemtrails, leaving you adrift, the planet's fever a symptom of your own disconnection. Socially, it's a plague of echoes. Platforms like Facebook don't just connect, they polarize. Silos where pareidolia festers into action. Remember Myanmar, 2017? Facebook's feeds amplified Buddhist nationalists' conspiracies of Rohingya as jihadist infiltrators. Fish people from Innsmouth, infiltrating to corrupt the pure. It fueled genocide, a real-world rite where shared delusion summoned slaughter. Pew Research's 2023 numbers chill the spine. 25% of Americans now buy into major conspiracies, a spike from pre-internet quietude. We've democratized the Necronomicon and the madness scales. Culture drinks deep from this well. True Detective Season 1 conjures Carcosa, a Yellow King's court of ritual, and Rot, its spiral of clues a nod to Lovecraft's unraveling investigators. Jordan Peele's visions, Get Out, Us, blend racial dread with voids that stare back, black bodies as gateways to the elder thing's indifference. Even memes mutate. Pepe the Frog, once a harmless cartoon, evolves in alt-right cauldrons into a tentacled harbinger, folklore for the fractured. The fallout, it's not abstract. Vaccine hesitancy has cost lives, children unshielded, pandemics prolonged, while election denial gnaws at democracy's bones, turning neighbors into suspects, like Innsmouth's scaled kin slithering through the streets. We've summoned the entities into flesh, and they don't dream quietly. They demand tribute in division and despair. So here we stand, you and I, at the precipice of this synthesis. Lovecraft's horrors and our conspiracy-fevered dreams, they spring from the same chasm, that aching human need to mythologize the maelstrom, to drape chaos in narratives that make us feel seen, significant. Yet in that weaving, we trap ourselves. Cycles of fear where truth swells into the grandest fiction, devouring the real. But what if we pivot, not toward easy debunking, that sterile sword, but toward something humbler? Wonder. the adaptive kin to paranoia. Recall Carl Sagan's pale blue dot, our world a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam, not a cage of cabals but a fragile miracle amid the cosmic hush. Awe doesn't deny the void. It dances with it, finding poetry in the unknown rather than plots. In this info flood, perhaps the radical act isn't knowing more, but curating ignorance, choosing pauses over plunges, letting some shadows stay shadowed. And the question that lingers sharp as a dream's edge: what if the true elder god isn't lurking in boardrooms or black sites, but the one we birth in our own skulls, the pattern-hungry beast we feed with every frantic refresh? Do we silence it with skepticism, pruning the wild growths of thought? Or do we nurture it with endless scrolls until it consumes us whole? Imagine now, a lone figure on a hill at dusk. You, perhaps, gazing upward. The stars prick the velvet sky, vast and various. Their light ancient travelers from fires we can never touch. Do they gaze back with indifference, cold equations churning in the dark? Or have we projected our conspiracies onto them, celestial cabals plotting our irrelevance? The wind carries no answer, only the soft susurrus of possibility. Lovecraft captured it once, in The Color Out of Space. It was just a color out of space, a frightful messenger from unformed realms where curvatures of time and consciousness are lost. Reimagine that color as the unchecked algorithm, its hues bleeding into our days, whispering undos from realms we half summoned. Yet in recognizing it, we reclaim a sliver of power, not to banish the messenger, but to turn from its glare. So pause, friend. Log off for a breath. Let the unknown reclaim its throne as mystery, not menace. In that tentative peace, terror transmutes, not to certainty, but to a quiet, defiant wonder. The abyss may stare, but we needn't blink first. What will you see when you look away?